In this lesson, we're going to take a look at room mailboxes in Exchange Server 2010. So here is the mailbox list in my Exchange test lab, and I've just highlighted this mailbox here called Sydney Meeting Room 1. Now at the moment this is just a regular user mailbox, nothing special about it. And this is the type of thing you might see if you had mailboxes from previous versions of Exchange, such as Exchange 2003, that had been migrated to Exchange 2010 and were just treated as regular mailboxes and weren't converted to the new room mailbox format. Or alternatively, they may have just been created incorrectly by someone who's administering that Exchange 2010 server. Now if we go over here to one of the clients in the environment, so I'm logged on with Alan Reed, and he wants to create a new meeting request. For the time that the meeting is currently set to, there's no available rooms suggested in Outlook here. If we click on rooms, there's nothing in the all rooms address book. And if he wants to invite people to a meeting in that room, then he needs to basically add it as he would any other attendee. And I've just had to switch to my all users address list there because my mailbox is new. It hasn't updated in the offline address book yet, but you get the idea. Okay, but just like any other mailbox, there's free busy information there. And let's say we want to send that meeting for Saturday, 2:30 p.m. and we'll call it weekend sales meeting. And we'll send that off, and basically nothing happens. The email will go and it will be delivered to that Sydney meeting room mailbox, and it will just sit there. There'll be nothing, nobody to, unless you have someone delegated to manage that mailbox and manage that calendar, then the invitation will just sit there and there'll be no response at all. So that's really not an ideal situation. So what we can do is convert that into a room mailbox. So let's jump over here, go to the Exchange Management Shell, say get mailbox Sydney Meeting Room 1. Alright, there he is. And if we just choose to set mailbox type room, it's as simple as that. I'll jump back into the console here and refresh this view. You can see that the icon has changed and the recipient type has changed from user mailbox to room mailbox. Now if you open up a regular user, you'll see this group of tabs available in the user, the mailbox properties. If we open up a room mailbox, we get some additional resource tabs. So we could set a resource capacity for the room, some other rules about conflicting meeting requests, how far ahead people can actually book the meeting room. We can manage the delegates, and if we so choose, forward the meetings to them. So that would be in the case where a meeting room still has a delegate who may oversee the bookings, deal with conflicts. Perhaps it's a very important room that only certain people should be allowed to book. Now one of the most important settings is this one here, to enable the resource booking attendant. And as it says there, the resource booking attendant enables the resource mailbox to process requests and cancellations automatically. So let's go ahead and tick that for the Sydney meeting room. Apply the change. And we'll jump back here to Alan's Outlook. and we'll have a look at what might have changed there. So I'll start a new meeting request. Click on rooms. This time there is an available room in that all rooms address list, because it's basically an address book or address list that is made up of all mailboxes that are of type room. So let's add in that Sydney meeting room. I'll make the meeting for the following Monday at 10:30 AM, and we'll say Monday staff meeting. We've got some suggested times here where the Outlook is able to suggest to you how many available rooms are actually in those individual time slots. So this can help you when you're picking from multiple available rooms. But I'll just leave it as is, 10:30 to 11 in the morning on Monday, and we'll send that off. And this time we get an acceptance from the meeting room. So that resource booking attendant has actually processed that meeting request for us and automatically accepted it under the conditions that are configured, as you saw in the properties, for example, checking whether there's any conflicts, checking whether the booking occurs within the allowed time frame, within the allowed window of time in terms of how far ahead I'm making the booking. And basically it will automate a whole bunch of the management of those room mailbox calendars for us. So that was converting a existing mailbox into a room mailbox. What if we wanted to create a room mailbox from scratch? Well, that is in fact very simple. It's all available for you here in the new Mailbox wizard. You can create room mailboxes, which as the name as it suggests here, they are for fixed locations such as meeting rooms, conference rooms, boardrooms. Or you can choose to create an equipment mailbox, which has the same sort of resource booking attendant capability, but that's more for portable items or items such as loan laptops, projectors, perhaps some of your pool cars, those sort of things. So choose to create a room mailbox. I'm not going to associate it with an existing user. I'll make a new user. I'm happy for it to drop it in the default OU in this case. I'll call it Sydney Meeting Room 2. You notice I can't specify a password when I'm creating a room mailbox. Exchange will set a password for us automatically. It will also disable the associated user account, and it's just one thing, extra thing that you don't have to manage. So no one will ever actually log on with that account to Active Directory. You never need to manage that password or set a strong one or anything like that. Let's jump through the rest of the wizard there. And it is basically as simple as that. So there's our second room mailbox. This time it starts with the recipient type of room mailbox, because that's the one I chose during that new Mailbox wizard. And again, shows up in this all rooms address book. And if we just nominate a time such as Wednesday at 5:30 PM, and we're also getting suggested times here down the bottom. No conflicts, no conflicts. Let's add in both of those rooms and have a look. There are 2 available rooms. You can also look in the scheduling assistant, see when they're available. Drop out the one you don't need. Okay, I think you get the idea. Won't send that one off. So there you go. If you're still using regular mailboxes for managing the calendars of your meeting rooms, with someone manually responsible for reviewing and approving those requests or managing those calendars, or maybe if you're even still using public folder calendars for that purpose, have a look at converting across to Exchange 2010 room mailboxes, and you'll find that this is actually saves quite a lot of time for people by having the resource booking attendant automatically manage those bookings for you.